Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Wrestle Talk. I'm your host with the most, Joe Lance, and I'll let this guy introduce himself.
They call me JB.
JB. Alright, let's get into some wrestling news. Did you watch wrestling on Monday night?
Yeah, I thought it was a pretty good Raw, to be honest.
You thought it was pretty good?
Before we go on, I gotta say, I watched your video last week, and you failed to mention one little thing, and that was Vince McMahon's haircut. He totally went back to the old school Vince McMahon haircut. I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, he did. I did forget to mention that. Thank you for bringing that up. Yes, I did. I actually did forget to mention that. I don't know how I forgot to mention it. I'm glad that you remembered that.
I saw it. I marked out. I loved it.
It was pretty good.
Loved it.
Yeah, so, yeah, they obviously they had the Triple H and Vince McMahon angle again, where they're fighting each other and he's not letting them wrestle. And what do you think about that angle? I don't know about that.
Well, I think it could go a couple different ways. The way I see it going is I think Vince McMahon and Triple H might eventually have a match, and that match will be for ownership of the WWE. And then Vince will pass it on to Triple H. I mean, you saw on Raw where he said that he was a generous guy, and he's a giver. You know what I mean? So he wants to give Triple H the company, but I think in the wrestling storyline, they're going to have a match, and I just can't see Triple H losing that match because the whole future is set on all of that.
Exactly. And of course, the big talk was Dolph Ziggler coming back.
Oh, Ziggler definitely coming back. Two-time world champion. A lot of people don't realize that, but he's held the World Heavyweight Championship twice. I think the first stint was like a 1 or 2 day period. I can't even remember who he lost it to.
It wasn't even 1 or 2 days. I think like by the end of the SmackDown, he had lost it to Edge again.
Was it the same show? It was the same show, wasn't it?
It was the same show. Yes, it was.
So yeah, he's two-time World Heavyweight Champion, but I'm glad to see him back there because he sells better than anyone. He performs better than just about anyone on the roster. He puts people in the seats. He's a great heel. Could be a great face. I don't really think he's had a chance to be a face.
No, he really hasn't. I don't know if he's been a face yet or not.
And I feel right now, he's kind of over, kind of not over.
Exactly.
I feel like he's a medium, kind of like Stone Cold was, kind of the good bad guy.
Good bad guy, yeah.
So.
And of course, we also had the AJ Lee's, Caitlin's secret admirer was identified to be AJ Lee.
I thought that was great. I thought that was great storyline because for weeks and weeks and weeks and weeks they built this up. At first I was like, oh, it's Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes playing hard to get or just playing some kind of mind games or something. But over the weeks, you kind of saw that it was more than that, but you come to find out that it was AJ Lee, and I think that was genius.
Yeah.
AJ, I did not see that coming. And
nobody did.
That's what I love about wrestling. Like, those little things that you don't see coming. When Big E came out, I was like, oh, man, are they going to do a Big E face turn? And because, he's been having problems with AJ over the past couple weeks with their interferences of matches and all that. But, I think that I thought Big E Langston was going to go face there, but then he dropped Caitlyn.
He dropped her, and
AJ came out, and I was like, man, this is so reminiscent of the Mickie James Trish Stratus, stalker storyline that they had at a couple WrestleManias ago. Exactly. I really enjoyed that. So. And
that actually sets up their match at the next WWE pay-per-view, which is this Sunday, Payback.
Yeah, Payback Sunday. I'll be tuning in. I'm sure you will be too.
Yes, I will be. Yeah, it's going to be a good pay-per-view. They've got every title is on their line.
Yeah.
Every title. You got Cena against Ryback in the 3 Stages of Hell. I love that match. They haven't done that match in a long time. I think last time they did it was who was it? I think it was Stone Cold and Triple H.
Was it?
I'm thinking.
I feel like Cena was in another, or it was definitely. I'm not sure. Because there's been so many matches. I feel like Triple H might have been in one.
Yeah.
Triple H and Cena, maybe?
I don't know. I'll have to definitely take a look at that. But yeah, then we also have, and of course that's for the WWE title. Then you've got Ziggler against Del Rio, that's going to be a good match.
That's going to be a good match. I personally don't. Well, I don't see them giving Ryback the title in the first place. You know, if he gets over in Cena, I figure Cena will get a win, Ryback will get a win, and then the third one will be the toss up. But since the third part of the Stage of Hell is the ambulance match, and Ryback's been coming out in the ambulance lately. You kind of got to think that Ryback might have a chance, but I just don't see him being the heavyweight, heavyweight champion.
I don't think
WWE champion.
I don't think he's championship material yet. I mean, I like what they've done with him, but I don't think he's championship material. But it's definitely not the big title.
Yeah, and Ziggler, I don't see him dropping it for a while because he's worked so hard to have it.
Yeah,
and he got hurt and came back. On Monday he came back.
Yeah, he came back Monday.
And I think he's gonna just dominate. He's gonna have that fuel for the fire. He's gonna wanna be the show off, and he's gonna come out on Payback, and he's gonna impress everyone. And I don't look forward to him losing the title. I don't think he's gonna lose it. So
yeah, and of course you got the Shield against Orton and Bryan. I don't see the Shield dropping the titles. I think that Orton and Bryan are going to end up fighting, because Orton's attacked Bryan a couple times already.
They hit him with that RKO on Friday SmackDown. And, I mean, how did they even become... I mean, I know how they became a tag team on Raw, but that's just a weird tag team to have in a championship match. But there have been more weird... tag team champions,
exactly.
Stone Cold and The Undertaker.
The Rock and Sock.
Yep, Rock and Sock connection. Who would have ever thought those people would have been tag team champions? But sure enough, they won it. But I don't think that they're going to let the Shield lose that. I don't think the Shield's going to lose that. On Raw, Daniel Bryan and Seth Rollins had an awesome match. I loved when Rollins went up for that kick. Bryan reversed it and put him in the submission, the single leg Boston Crab. I thought that was awesome. It was a very lengthy match. It was a good match, and I think it'll probably be on the Best of Raw 2013 DVD.
It could be.
If they release one, which they probably will.
Yeah, they probably will. Then we got Wade Barrett against Curtis Axel and The Miz. It was supposed to be Barrett, Fandango and The Miz, but Fandango got a concussion and he's out for a certain amount of time until he's clear about the doctors. We want to wish him luck because it's always bad when you get a injury.
I gotta admit, man, I'm not the biggest fan of Fandango. I love Johnny Curtis. He's in ring. He's awesome. He's pretty decent on the mic. He's got that look to be a good wrestler. But the Fandango character, the gimmick reminds me too much of Disco Inferno. And
I think a lot of people have done that. And then they also have Dean Ambrose against Kane. That should be a really good match. They should work well together. I don't see Ambrose dropping the title to Kane.
No, I don't see him dropping the title. I mean, they had a decent match on Raw until it ended in a disqualification. But not to go back or anything, but Curtis Axel, I think he's going to win that match, because he just got thrown into it. He's getting the push.
Exactly.
He the whole Triple H thing, John Cena, what he got over on Jericho, didn't he? I just don't see him losing that. I think Wade Barrett's gonna drop the title. I would have loved to seen Cody Rhodes in that match, but I can see where it's good for business, especially Paul Heyman. To have a Paul Heyman guy in there.
Exactly.
Get him a strap. Push him up.
And we got Caitlyn against AJ for the belt. I think that's going to be a good match. They've had a pretty lengthy feud, especially after what happened Monday night. I think.
Oh, that was gold, man.
I think it's
all of that was gold. And both of these females are very good wrestlers. Like a lot of the divas that they have, they're there for looks. They're not there for their athleticism. They're not there for what they can do in the ring. They're there to look good, put people in the seats.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that both of these, I don't want to call them superstars, but divas?
Divas. Yeah, divas.
Both of these divas are very good in ring, and I think it'll be a pretty good divas title match. I think it might be one of the greatest. That's what I'm predicting. It's going to be a great divas title match.
And then, of course, one of the main matches, probably one of the main events, is going to be CM Punk against Jericho. They wrestled each other before, but it still is going to be a really good match.
Well, Punk beat him twice, didn't he?
I think so.
Which, that makes me iffy about why they're having a third match. But, Jericho, he's a good wrestler. He's unfortunately jobbed for the newer generation, which helps push them a little bit.
Exactly.
But I was thinking, what if, since Punk wasn't there for the contract signing, what if Punk no-showed in his hometown? How much of a heel? Yeah, I don't think that's ever been done before.
No, that you make a good point. That might actually be something that they may actually do.
It'd be different.
It would be.
And, Punk can play it off because he's such a good heel. But if he doesn't no-show, he'll probably turn face. But then again, face Jericho versus face Punk, it's not likely
really
to happen.
Exactly.
So, I don't know.
So that's the Payback pay-per-view. Definitely check that out. We found out that Mark Henry's coming back next week to Monday Night Raw.
Hall of Pain.
Hall of Pain. I'm sure he's going to be...
It took him a long time to get there, man.
Yeah,
So.
it was controversy. Everybody, there were rumors that he had become frustrated and he walked out. But in fact, he had gotten injured at the... he gotten injured at his last match, and that's why he hasn't been back yet.
So who do you think he's going to go after?
I have no idea. I think that probably he's just gonna come out and just destroy somebody in the ring, and nobody really knows who he's gonna come after yet.
Yeah, he's kind of just there. Maybe he'll issue an open challenge.
Maybe he could.
But I figured that the Usos would be fighting for the tag belts.
That's what I would have thought too. But
it looks like they've been getting quite a push over the last couple of weeks, and now they throw Daniel Bryan and Randy Orton. They're not even a tag team in there.
Exactly.
It's just a little bit absurd to me, but
But the people that I'm definitely looking forward to seeing the most is the Wyatt family. They keep showing these promos, and I just love the angle when he says you want to see something scary, and the guy's got the mask on.
Yeah, it definitely reminds me of the old school Waylon Mercy. He never did much. I think he might have had a feud with The Undertaker back in the early 90s. Back when Skinner and all those guys were the jobbers, as you'd call them, or one-hit wonders, whatever you want to label them as. But the Wyatt family's definitely looking up to being something. I don't know who they're going to feud with. I've watched a couple of the backstage Fallout videos, and Brodus Clay and Tensai had a exchanging of words. They stated their opinion about him. So I think that the Wyatt family will probably feud with Tons of Funk? Is that what Tons of Funk. I think that they're gonna feud with Tons of Funk, and then I don't know. That might split Tons of Funk up.
It might, because I was thinking myself. I was like, what would happen if they actually start fighting, and then Bray Wyatt, you uses his skills of being able to convince people to make Tensai turn, or even Brodus Clay turn. Because Brodus Clay, he's been a good guy since he came back.
Yeah, so he's such a great heel, though.
Yeah, exactly.
It's almost sad how they're doing him now, appealing to the fans. They should leave that to R-Truth. Nobody pays to see R-Truth. As sad as that is, I mean, he's a good in-ring athlete. He's got some